in order to promote something higher, I mean, I feel now, at the ripe old age of 25, that the only thing that I could do is serve others. And because there are people who have not reached that point in their walk, you know, yes, there's a little anger, there's a little resentment, because you raise a standard, you know, you especially when you do it and you make some noise, you know, and you do it and people actually listen to what you have to say, and like your record is bumping on the radio and you're saying something that holds a mirror up to a lot of the negativity and self-indulgent things and messages that a lot of other people, you know, but we're all young. I mean, I have a hard time being so hard on the music world, especially hip hop, because most of them come out of the hood 17 years old, having no clue or concept, having no concept of what life really is. And because hip hop is so fast and what we like changes so quickly, by the time they do get a concept, they're no longer making records. You know, so I've been put in this unique position. I have this very unique responsibility that God has made me aware while I still have the mic. I'm telling you, I'm so blessed to have reached this place where, you know, 5 years ago, I was so thin-skinned. Whatever anybody said would just, oh, my God, they don't like this rhyme, and oh, my songs, and you know, and then one day I woke up. And it was like my skin was just, it was so thick, it was impenetrable by those fiery darts. They just had no effect. And I realized that that was a strength and a confidence that only came from a higher source. And, you know, we have to be determined, and you have to know that, for me now, I'm learning that it's more important to be righteous than to be right. I've tried to be right. You know, this is right. This is an injustice. This is a travesty. I'm right. But I've been very unrighteous and still right. Oh my God, you know, because you can attack someone completely right, but it doesn't resolve anything. You know, it doesn't solve your problem. So I understand now that the battlefield and that the war is so much greater than what we see before us. You know, I live in this physical body. This is like my address, like 22 Eder Terrace. I just gave everybody my address, but that's my address. Write me, no. But this is where I live, you know, but there's something much deeper. Who I am, you know, has nothing to do with, you know, the hair and the shoes and stuff, even though I like shoes. But, you know, it has nothing to do with that. So you know, and what I do, I mean, I find there's a lot of power in prayer. So I pray for the people who don't understand me. And I tell you, to be honest with you, I pray more now to be understood. No, excuse me, to understand than to be understood. I pray now to learn how to love than to be loved. Because God has given me an abundance, so, you know, I don't need God. These people don't understand me. They think I'm crazy. Every time I'm on the mic, they just, you know, it's not about that. I pray that I understand them so that I can talk to them, minister to them even more. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm just not afraid of, you know, it's of no effect. It's immaterial to me. Because our enemies are not physical bodies. They're actually our family. They don't know it, and we don't always know it, but our enemies are not, you know, they're not flesh and blood. And our problems are not flesh and blood, even though we think they are. I hope that, I know that was very, like, I don't mean to sound ethereal, because what I'm saying, I'm telling you, is heavy as bricks. It's concrete. It's very concrete. Sometimes it can sound like doo-doo-doo, you know, but it's not that. You know, it's like, who saw the movie The Matrix? Okay, good. Then we can start from a point of reference. Matrix was a banging movie to me, and the reason why I appreciated it so much was because, do you remember at the end when Neo like realized his potential? He started to see the binary code. You remember that, the whole world? Well, that's where I'm trying to be spiritually. I'm trying to see the word of God in the whole world. So every time that agent throws a punch, I'm like, I see you. Oh, okay. You know, I'm just catching his punches. You know, so I'm not afraid. You know, I'm not afraid because I'm starting to see that. You know, things are just, situations materialize themselves, and, oh, he's an agent. You know, but here's the trick. Here's the trick. Here's the trick, is that you have to remember that sometimes you can be an agent. You can be an agent to yourself. You can be an agent against someone else and not even realize that you're being used, you know? That's the matrix. Love is so important. A loving environment. You know, to this day, I can't tell you how blessed I am to know how much love. And let me tell you, because when you get out there and you realize, see, I grew up in a big family. My grandmother had 13 kids, and it was always a lot of us, and we just thought everybody's family is like this, until I met other people who were scarred. You know, my fiance, you know, it's so funny when two people meet in a relationship, you know, everybody has baggage. You know, we all bring baggage to every situation and every relationship. But the good part is that, you know, when you find someone that you think you have something in common with, you recognize the bags. You know, you're like, oh, that's Samsonite, I got that. That's a toiletry bag, you put a toothbrush in there. But when I met my fiance, I had my little travel kit, and he had like U-Hauls. And I was like, whoa! I was like, what goes in there? And you know, I'm gonna be very honest, very intimidated. And you couldn't have found two people who, you know, were more, who we were just incompatible, but there was love. You know, we loved each other, and I was like, why do I love this man who talk? That's how he talks, and this Jamaican pattern, you know. And I was just like, what is this? But you know, God brought us together, and God worked it out. And I'm just. Love, I tell you, love is that confidence. Love is what you give your children. Love is what you give. Let me tell you another thing about the Matrix. Going back to the Matrix, is that I was always confused about it. I always thought that, you know, the Matrix was battling the enemy out there, picking them out. I'm going to find those enemies. I'm going to get that enemy. Until I realized that until you conquer the enemy in yourself, you can't deal with anyone. In order to be used by God, you have to really be used. You know, we always want to be used for the glorious jobs. Let God put me on the stage in front of the people in the Grammy show with a nice dress on. Let me just praise your name. But that's not being used. Sometimes in order to be used, you also have to be humiliated. You have to be humiliated sometimes. You have to be kicked and beaten. And in that situation, the person who's kicking and beating, he's feeling more pain than you are. You know, love is an incredible thing, and we don't know love like we should. We always talk about, I have unconditional love. Unconditional love is, we don't even know it, because if a person stops stimulating us, we stop loving them. You're not interesting to talk to anymore. Goodbye. But that real love that sometimes is difficult, difficult to have, that's that love. And that's a confidence builder.